What is going on out there, peeps? All right, let's get back into what's going on into Iraq. There's some good things going on. Plus, I need to touch up on some other things from the last video. We'll get into there in just a second. A reminder to everyone, if you're thinking about buying precious metals, give a consideration to our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get a free half ounce of silver. You guys know we got Pimpy's Investment Chat, same name as the YouTube channel. Over here, we talk about investment opportunities such as gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, you name it. So come on over here. It's free to join. The link is down in the description. If you have a question, post it. There's a lot of knowledgeable people in the group. If I don't get to you, one of them will be able to answer your questions as well. You guys know I have this other alternative YouTube channel called The Hidden Things in Front of Your Eyes. The 2 videos I dropped yesterday were huge. But if you're going to watch them, you want to start with this one, then go to this one. But yeah, both very informative. Feel free to come join me over there because there's subjects I talk about over here that I can't talk about on this channel here. You guys know about LBRY. I talk about it all the time. It's the same thing as YouTube, just without all the censoring. Again, the links for all these are down in the description. And I brought this up before because people don't know what that means when I say the links are in the description. What I mean by that is if you go below the video here, see where it says show more, click it. See all the different links so you can go to the different places and get information. Okay? I just wanted to share that with you. All right, so yesterday I was talking about, or the day before I was talking about, I don't like when the IMF gets involved with things. So there's a couple things actually. Okay. We were talking about, I was telling you that the depletion of their foreign currency reserves is bad. That's what I was talking about. But also getting anything from the IMF is even worse. It doesn't make a difference if it prevents them from lowering their foreign currency reserves. It doesn't matter. Trust me when I tell you, anything from the IMF is bad. We saw what happened when the IMF and the World Bank got involved with Iraq the first time. Okay, they give you policies that help lower inflation, but nothing to help you with economical growth. It comes with a ton of strings that are attached and conditions. So you know what I mean? You have to implement their policies and procedures. So that's what I was talking about. We don't want a loan. Because people are like, yes, we do. It helps out Pimpy. Man, it keeps them from depleting their federal or their foreign currencies. Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was like, no, it doesn't matter. Okay, you don't want anything from the IMF or World Bank. Because then you become their little biatch, okay? Here's the other thing too, and it's in here. I told you their budget was for $42 for oil. The price of oil is much higher than that right now, which is good. Because that means there is more money than they had expected. Now what they do is they get when they get paid for the oil, they get paid in US dollars. Greenbacks, petrodollars, whatever you want to call them. Then they send that money over to a certain portion over to the banks, or I should say the CBI bank. They auction off the money. They auction them off to different banks, but from different countries, the best way to put it. So they already can build up their foreign reserve currencies because of the additional money made off the oil. So you don't need to go to the IMF. No need for it. They're already getting in more money than they had expected. So there's no need for a loan. I understand they're in crunch time right now. But in my opinion, they don't need it. And they don't have to worry about losing their foreign currency reserves. As a matter of fact, they should be able to build up on it. That's what I was saying in the video. Some of you who remain nameless was not listening to what I was saying in the video. So again, the fact that oil prices is higher than what their budget is good. That means when they did the budget, they projected it that the oil price would be here. And so whatever's underneath it is all projected based on the oil price that they had set in the budget, because that's 95% of their revenues. So if that changed into the positive for whatever reason, that means you're getting additional money. It's a surplus, but not actually a surplus, if you get my drift. Okay? That just means they have more US dollars to sell so they can build back up their reserve currencies. Now, I think it was 6 or 7 weeks ago, I did a video when they were talking about how Iraq, when it came to foreign currencies, there's a standard that's set out there. And they are way higher than the standard at that time. So they're still up there. So there's no real fear. But I think for Iraq, in order for them to have a very strong currency, they want to make sure that their foreign reserve currencies are high, okay? Because that helps them when it comes to the value of their own dinars, okay? So I just wanted to clear that up because I don't think either people are not listening to the videos or just we're not paying attention or don't actually read the articles. All right, the International Development Bank announces it's joining the Bandi platform. So again, this is a good one, but this is going to help them do a lot of bank transactions. I think they're more focusing on the Arab nations, it appears to, anyways. So it said the International Bank announced that it has joined the Bandi platform for clearing and settling Arab payments. Okay, so I actually didn't. This article just came up recently, and I got sidetracked. So if this is what happened with the Arab payment, my guess is they're going to be involved with the Arab Monetary Fund, the bank statement, the news. With unremitting and promising efforts, and on occasions of launching and operating the, here it is, the Buna, I believe it's called. That's definitely the, here you go, Arab Monetary Fund. Platform for clearing and settling Arab payments owned by the Arab Monetary Fund, and starting to implement the business of sending and receiving money to various currencies. And after the platform's success in conducting financial transfers in in these countries, because this doesn't make sense here, Egypt, UAE, Jordan, at the first stage. Okay, so you guys remember talked about this, that the Arab Monetary Fund was an organization that had, I believe it's 22 or 23 of the Arab nations had signed aboard. Okay, they have their own currency known as the Arab accounting dinar. Its value is based on currency of baskets that include the nations that are in there. Okay, most of them. But there are some nations in which their currencies are too low in value. So Iraq was brought back into the fold. Their currencies is now part of the Arab Monetary Fund. And I was telling you, they're going to have to figure out a way to help beef it up, the value. In other words, when they devalued the currency, that wasn't good. They have to figure out a way to revalue or increase the value of the dinar against the US dollar. So what was happening in the past, the Arab nations amongst themselves really couldn't do trade. And why was that? Because they had trade agreements with countries that were sometimes rivals and would not allow that to happen. But most of the reason was because the currency values were so far apart. It made it really hard to do trade. You know what I mean? Without, one country who has a very valuable currency could really dominate another country whose currencies is really undervalued. When it comes to trade, the undervalued one could really dominate the one that's too high. So this is why they came up with the Arab accounting dinar. This allowed these countries to do trades and businesses amongst each other on a more even level playing field. But again, I was telling you, when Iraq got in there, I was anticipating them trying to help Iraq, and I mean them, I'll talk about the Arab accounting, or the Arab Monetary Fund, them helping Iraq find a way to start increasing the value of their dinars against the dollar again. Well, one of those things they could do, and this is why we definitely don't want the IMF, that's for sure, nor the World Bank. One of the things they could do is help them build up their foreign currency reserves. There are many other things they could do. Help with loans. They can give loans to other nations so that they don't have to go to the IMF. Do you see what I'm saying? So I think anytime these countries are working, so far it appears, with the Arab Monetary Fund, that's a good thing. So stay away from the IMF. Stick to the Arab Monetary Fund. So now they're on the, I believe it's Bandi platform. So anyways, that's a good thing that they're there. This means that they're starting to really get to that next stage that they have laid out. If you go to their Arab Monetary Fund platform, you can see what their goals are and why they've been formed. And they have on there also, so you guys can see the Arab accounting dinar. And it easily tells you how they come up with the rate. In other words, what is the value of the Arab accounting dinar? What they do is they take whatever the SDR rate is and multiply times 3. And that is the value of the Arab accounting dinar. This way it makes it equal amongst the nations. They could trade the whole 9 yards. So this is a good thing. I like this. I'm looking forward to this getting in full swing as far as all these nations able to get on the platform in which they can start doing trade and business. I think it's going to help all Arab nations that are board on Arab accounting or at the Arab Monetary Fund. I think it's really going to strengthen them as a group. So I'm looking forward to this happening. So the International Development Bank, as the first Iraqi bank to start its work on this platform, congratulations to Iraq. So again, stay away from the IMF. They don't have to worry about their foreign reserves being depleted. That's not an issue, and I'll show you why here in a little bit. So this helps as well. Just go to the Arab Monetary Fund. If you need to borrow money, borrow it from them if I was Iraq. So it says, which will allow its customers to send money between Arab countries and in all currencies and to the various markets of Arab region, and a board with very low commissions. See that? Which will include more than 120 Arab banks to its network in order to expand the list of Arab and international currencies. The bank emphasized work is underway to introduce the Iraq Dinar currency on this platform soon to encourage the use of the Arab currencies in financial and investment transactions in accordance with the international standard and after the International Development Bank fulfills its operational requirements, which reflects on a bright image of Iraq's banks and their competition with Arab banks in applying all modern bank standards. Yay, this is another big deal. This is a big move. So I'm glad to see this is finally going on. We talked about this a couple of videos, actually a couple times over the last year. 3 new decisions from the Kurdistan International Bank. Okay, so what are the 3 decisions? Let's take a look. It's going to activate deposit boxes to store customers' documents, which is good. It's just like our safekeeping boxes. The bank said in documents received that the Kurdistan International Bank has made depository funds in all kinds, small, medium, large, for its customers, so that the precious jewelry and your valuable documents can be stored, just like a safe deposit box. That's all it is. Okay. Oh, what else to do? To launch project financing and open documentary credits. So they're going to expand. What they're trying to do is they're trying to get their customers back in faith of the banks. That's the problem. A lot of these, with good reason, a lot of banks in the Middle East don't trust their local banks. They don't. The people don't. We know why. Iraq, man, poor things. They had the United States invade them. The currency went down. There's a concern about the banks. Then had, ISIS took over the money. So every time the people had their money in the bank, it got taken from them. So they just don't trust banks. Besides that, there's a lot of corruption in there. There's a lot of money laundering, terrorist financing. So it's really hard for them to feel very positive about having their money in the bank. So they're doing all kinds of things, even loaning out money for you to get an apartment. Now, I never heard of that, but that's what they're doing. So, again, this is just their way of trying to entice the customers more. But, again, when you talk about, having a safe deposit box, if you were worried about having your money in the bank, I'm sure you're going to be even more concerned about having any kind of valuables in there, such as jewelry, gold, silver. But anyways, they're doing what they can to just make sure they can supply services that customers will like. So, look at this. A Kurdish leader announces that very excellent understandings have been reached between Baghdad and Erbil. Yay! Is it finally here? Have they finally come up with agreement? The only thing left, I think, is the finance committees to review this and agree with it. The leaders of the Patriot Union of Kurdistan confirmed today that they have reached understandings with Baghdad, describing them as very excellent and satisfying both parties, while noting that today's meeting was very long. Well, congratulations. You guys should have spent as much time as possible knocking us out a long time ago. Where the disagreement was, just so you guys are aware, remember we're talking about this, was the amount of oil. I think Baghdad was wanting something like 420,000 barrels, and Erbil was like, no, we want to stick to our original, which I believe is a 250 or 275,000 barrels of oil per month. Two parties have reached very positive and excellent understandings, which will be announced upon completion of the meeting between the Finance Committee and the Kurdish delegations. So I'm anticipating this deal to finally be done no later than this next week. So it should be done. Good. That's part of the 2021 budget. I believe this is the real holdup. Once this agreement is done, because remember, in there is the dues and fees, okay? Plus the amount of oil. They have to have an agreement. Parliament Finance decides to amend the price of barrel of oil in the 2021 budget. This is a good thing. A member of the Parliamentary Finance Committee announced that the price of a barrel of oil will be adjusted for the 2021 budget. So what they're going to do is they're going to move it from $42 to $45 and then calculate it according to specified price. I'll get it out. Okay. So the trend of rising oil prices and calculating them in the budget will save the state treasury more than 5 trillion dinars. This also has contributed to reducing the financial deficit in the budget law. See, I told you. So if you're getting more money, then obviously that helps with the deficit. So they have more money in their budget for them to do more things. Again, the other day I said what they should do is spend more money in the private sector. This way then they can start creating more jobs and types of revenue so that they're not so reliant on oil. So this is good, but in addition to this, keep in mind, even though they're moving it for $42 to $45, oil prices are still higher at the moment. So that additional money gets sent to the bank for them to auction off US dollars, and in return, they get back paid in foreign currencies, and they can build up their reserves. You don't want to get anything from the IMF if you can avoid it. That is a bad situation. They always have some kind of things they want. They want to get their grubby hands on policies and procedures. Okay. As a matter of fact, I think if I remember correctly when I was reading. Okay, here you go. It says parliamentary finance. The sudden loan requested by the government is illegal, and we do not know about it. So here you go. They're going to talk about the IMF in this article. The Parliamentary Finance Committee expressed on Monday its surprise at the urgent loan that the government offered from the International Monetary, stressing that it had no knowledge of the loan and was not included in the budget law. A member of the committee told them that any borrowing made by the government is either included in the budget law or submitted to Parliament for a vote on it before borrowing. Parliament has no knowledge of the sudden borrowing that was announced by the government and was not included in the budget law, making that an illegal borrowing, an illegal loan. So it says the committee intends to reduce the budget deficit by canceling the existing loans in it. And now it is surprised that the government borrows an urgent loan from the International Monetary Fund, pointing out that all IMF loans are harmful because they have great conditions and restrictions. This is what I was talking about before the other day. I said you do not want to include, you don't want the IMF to give them loans at all. Again, because then they insist on, before they give you a loan, they always have strings attached. There's conditions that they want, and a lot of those conditions deal with your monetary policies. So stay away from there. Even this guy's telling you right now, same thing I said. They're harmful, and there's too many conditions involved. So that's what, stay away from IMF, you guys. You guys are already part of the Arab Monetary Fund. I think they should stick to that. Those nations include Kuwait and Saudi Arabia. So what they should do is be talking to them about a loan. And you saw on that article that it said, if you need to borrow monies, the commissions are low. So that's what they should be doing. Eyeballing, working with the Arab Monetary Fund and avoid the IMF. So things are looking good. It looks to us like finally some type of agreement is going to be finalized between Erbil and Baghdad. That's going to help with the 2021 budget. I love the fact that they're increasing the budget from $42 a barrel of oil on up to $45. That means a lot more of the deficit will be taken care of. Nothing will be adding to the deficit. They're going to be, the fact that oil is much higher than what they budgeted for is great. That's a surplus. That also is going to help them with the reserves, foreign currency reserves. Also, stay away from IMF and continue to do work with the Arab Monetary Fund. They're a lot better for Iraq than IMF is. So that's it. These are positive steps, you guys, going in the right direction. I understand that we saw the article that said that the Iraqi dinar exchange rate will not change for 3 years. But again, there's a lot of things not being taken into consideration. I'm still eyeballing what's going to happen with the strength of the US dollar. That affects everything. It affects foreign currencies against our US dollar, the exchange rate. It affects gold and silver. And depending on what's going on with cryptocurrencies, it will affect them all three in a positive manner if the US dollar should go down. Now, although you might not see a lot of the prices change, what you wanted to pay attention to is the value, although the exchange rate on the currencies definitely would change. Okay, that would mean that the dinar is increasing in value against the US dollar. That rate change would happen. So when we saw the rate change happen in which they devalued the dinar, I said, I'm not panicking, not to worry about it. There are so many other factors that are going to play into the currency exchange rate in much shorter time, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later.